What? Bang!
Wrestling podcast. Just when they think they got the answers, I change the question.
Rep screwed rep.
Yeah.
Woo!
Who are you to doubt El Dandy? Because this guy's a serious professional.
Did he do it? Unbelievable.
Too hot to handle and too cold to hold. And I am Macho King Savage.
Shut your mouth, you thong-wearing fatty. I said WWE stands for. It's me, Austin. I will never retire.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Hey, yo, Pro Wrestling Podcast listeners, welcome to the show where we don't sing it, we bring it. Help us out and click subscribe to show your support. If you want to become a member of the Pro Wrestling Podcast family and you want your name in the shoutouts like my good buddy John in Texas, check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/Pro Wrestling Podcast. Sign up today. Don't forget loyalty rewards. If you are a $15 a month contributor, you get to co-host a show with myself. $7.50 a month, enter you into a drawing to also co-host an episode with me. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this very special episode of the Pro Wrestling Podcast. We haven't done a lot of these. We're going to do some tonight. It's going to be a little different than anything we normally do. Before we get to that, if you've got questions, comments, something you want me to talk about in a future episode, hit us up. Pro Wrestling Sound Off line 267-642-1160. It is a talk to text service. Drop us a line. Let us know what you want us to talk about, and we will get to that in a future episode. Tonight's episode, what we are doing, I am going to fantasy book Summer Slam 2025. Look, it is several weeks away. We don't know what WWE is planning with their match card and what's going to go down. We have a lot of people who speculate on different things. I'm going to throw at you what I think makes a logical sense in terms of what they've been doing with storylines and how to get a lot more people onto the card and what I would do if I were WWE. Now, this does not mean it is the storylines that I want to happen. It's what I think they should do to maximize the roster on a two-night SummerSlam. Essentially, I heard Simon Miller call it the Hot WrestleMania. The SummerSlam show that this year for the first time will be a two-night show. This, to me, is the card that they should use to really maximize this first two-night opportunity and give people tons of information to watch and look at. Let's start off with night one. First off, let's remember this. WrestleMania, some of the issues that people had with Mania was the women did not get to be featured on the show as much as they should be, prominently like they should be. We got to get women onto the show, and I don't want to hear, oh, well, we've got Evolution to do that. No. They have to be on the card in prime matches. Now, do I think they're going to main event the show? No, I do not. And I'm not saying that that's a good thing. I think at some point we got to get some of these two-night pay-per-views to absolutely include them as the headliners. I just think that your main events each night have to be the hottest storylines in the company, male, female, or otherwise. That's not to disrespect the women, but right now, think about in WWE. Who is the female talent that is leading the charge as the number one attraction on television right now? Rhea Ripley is phenomenal. No one's going to argue with her popularity. Jade Cargill, super popular. But they need to have a program where all parties in the match are so sought after they can overcome their male counterparts. And we'll get into why I chose what I chose as we go through. First off, let me give you some background. As I did this, I budgeted out 7 matches per night for the show. That's the start. That's the starting point. The second thing is I made sure that there was a balance between Raw and SmackDown matches. There are 7 Raw total, 7 SmackDown total spread across the 2 nights, and they're kind of zigzag. So, like, for example, the men's and women's United States Championship would not be defended on the same night, nor would be the men's and women's Intercontinental Championship, nor the men's and women's World Championship. You know what I mean? Like, I split it up that way, so both shows are represented by their champions, and interestingly, and you don't get too much of the same stuff on the same show. That being said, let's jump into my fantasy book card, what I think WWE should do for SummerSlam 2025. All right, so night one, let's talk about where I start the show. I know some people are going to be irritated with this. They're going to be like, no, this is too big of a match to be the opening match of night one of Summer Slam, but there's a method to my madness and reasons for everything I say. So night one, opening match for the World Heavyweight Championship, Gunther defending against CM Punk, which obviously that means I'm predicting that Gunther retains over Goldberg at Saturday night's main event. Duh. But I do think Gunther and CM Punk, now that they had those seeds planted on last Raw, I think this would be the perfect way to segue into that match at SummerSlam. That being said, I expect it would be a slobber knocker type of match, heavy hitting. I don't think you can beat Punk again. He just lost to Cena in Saudi Arabia for the WWE Championship. If you're ever going to give him a championship, it would have to be right here. I think it would be a great opportunity for Seth Rollins to cash in on him if he beats Gunther, which would then set up their ongoing feud, and that gives Seth something to do in the coming months. Otherwise, if Gunther were to retain for some reason, again, there could be a cash-in. Now, I'm not convinced there's not going to be a cash-in on Saturday night's main event. I've said the other day on our previous episode that I think they would be a great idea for, at the end of the match, after Goldberg probably, I would imagine, does like a submission tap-out or pass-out thing from the sleeper. If not, if Gunther does something to his son or his family, taunts him in some way, Goldberg snaps and hits him with a bunch of spears and jackhammers and whatever, that would be a great opportunity for Seth to come out and cash in. But that would throw off the rest of my SummerSlam card, so we're not going to go there. Gunther versus CM Punk opening night one, followed by Lyra Valkyria versus Roxanne Perez with Raquel Rodriguez for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. Again, that spoils a little bit of my planning for the Evolution 2 pay-per-view because I do not think Roxanne and Raquel walk out with the championship. Lyra needs a new opponent, and I think we have to steer her away from Becky and Bayley. I think they wanted to do the triple threat at SummerSlam, but they needed a big match for Evolution because of ticket sales being dipped, and I think you have to move on from there. We'll get to the other two in a minute, but I think Valkyria needs a new challenger. It's got to be a heel because I think that's what we need in this coming out of this, and Roxanne Perez can slide right into there because think about the storyline here. Ready? Dominic Mysterio is the Intercontinental Champion, Roxanne the Women's Intercontinental Champion, together on the brand. It lends to the conversation when Liv Morgan comes back about the two of them having their little soiree while Liv is away. I think it would create great drama. It give the Judgment Day something else to focus on, and I just think it makes all the sense in the world. And Roxanne, let's be honest, needs to win a championship of her own. And this tag team thing was great. It's like a Band-Aid on the Liv Morgan issue. But moving forward, we got to get her into a more premium program. Match 3, night 1, Solo Sikoa versus Jacob Fatu, Bloodline rules for the United States Championship with tons of outside interference. Obviously, JC Mateo would get involved, Hikuleo, Tonga, whatever, I can't even remember off the top of my head what they call him now. Jimmy Uso, but I also think this is where you could debut Zilla Fatu and really shake things up, and I think Jacob Fatu would walk out with the United States Championship. I think that's what you need to do. Next match, match 4, back to the SmackDown side of things. Charlotte and Alexa Bliss, the women who I predict will win the Women's Tag Team Championship match at Evolution, defending against their opponents in that pay-per-view, the Kabuki Warriors, for the Women's Tag Team Championship. I think it'd be a great match. It would eliminate the need for the NXT involvement. It would eliminate the need for Roxanne and Raquel. We can get them out of the picture, and you could get really going with this match, all the history between Charlotte and Asuka, Alexa Bliss getting involved and having Kairi Sane in there. I think it would be a great tag team match, and they don't need the other two teams to be a part of it. I think that's what we do at SummerSlam. Next match is going to make no sense to anybody, but you got to hear me out on this. There are too many prime talents on the roster and not enough spaces to do stuff with all of them. That being said, I don't know the stipulation. There has to be some kind of stipulation because that's what we do in WWE now. Every pay-per-view seems to have a match that leads to a championship match elsewhere. King of the Ring, the Battle Royal at Evolution leading to a match in Berlin or Paris or wherever they're at this year. We keep seeing that thing happen, so we need to have more of those things to keep with what we've been doing in WWE lately. So I'm booking Karrion Kross versus Penta versus Rusev versus Sheamus. Winner getting a championship opportunity at pick whatever title you want. I don't care. The reason I chose those 4 is I could not see a logical way to build them onto the card. If I was going to cut a match, this would be the match that I cut from night one, but I don't see a way to get any of those 4 on the card if you don't put them into this match. And the problem is, I don't see how you keep Cross, Penta, Rusev, and Sheamus all out of SummerSlam when it's 2 nights long. How do you not feature 4 amazing talents like that? Follow that up with Becky Lynch versus Bayley, a straight-up grudge match. Put a stipulation of some kind, last woman standing, something of that nature, no holds barred, Extreme Rules, I don't care. I think that's a match everybody's going to want to see after Evolution, after the 3-person match, the triple threat for the Intercontinental Championship, and this is a great way to blow off that feud, wrap it up, and move on. The main event for night 1 of SummerSlam. This is giving away what I think they're going to do in the next couple weeks, and I've mentioned this in other episodes. The main event for night 1, Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker, and Bronson Reed taking on Roman Reigns, Jey Uso, and Sami Zayn. I think it's what needs to happen, and because when I look down the road, think about it. We've got Survivor Series coming up and a few months to plan how to put it together to have Roman Reigns, Jey Uso, Sami Zayn, Jimmy Uso, Jacob Fatu, and Zilla Fatu taking on Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, Solo Sikoa, Hikuleo, and JC Mateo. Think about how big that would be at War Games. That's where I think we should take it. So, my night 1 main event, Roman Reigns, Jey Uso, Sami Zayn versus Seth Rollins faction with Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. I think this is a perfect way to round out night 1 and would be the hottest angle on the show. Night 2, opening the show, because you know what they always say, if you don't main event go on last, you want to go first. Chris Jericho, famous for talking about that back when he and Kevin Owens had the friendship breakup, and they thought they were going to main event WrestleMania, and then they thought, okay, well, fine, we'll get the first match, and instead they went on second, and it was such an insult. So in that being said, the women, I don't have them headlining either night, but I want to put them in a prime spot. Tiffany Stratton versus Jade Cargill for the WWE Women's Championship to open night 2, and at the end of the match, regardless of who wins, I think it should be Jade, but whoever wins, a Naomi cash-in, and Naomi walking out with the WWE Women's Championship. Match 2 of night 2 for the Intercontinental Championship. Dominic Mysterio defends against AJ Styles and Finn Balor in a triple threat. Very similar to the Women's IC Championship, just a different night. And I think this is an opportunity for Dominic to either exercise all of his demons, including Finn Balor and AJ Styles, and go on to have that interesting interplay between he and Roxanne if they both walk around with Intercontinental Championship belts. Or you change it up. Let AJ win the Intercontinental Championship. Let him do something his last couple of years of being active. We talked last episode about his 1-year contract extension. We don't know when that's up. I'd love to see him get the Intercontinental Championship one more time. But we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. Next match, match 3 of night 2. Julia defending the Women's United States Championship against Zelina Vega, Chelsea Green, and Michin. Women's Fatal 4-Way. I think you got to get the women on the card, and since you're not doing a ton with the Women's U.S. Championship at the Evolution pay-per-view, it has to be featured at SummerSlam, especially on a 2-night event. So that's how I would get the championship on the card and give Julia an opportunity to obviously retain. The only person in the card that I would consider having go over Julia would be Chelsea Green because of all the hard work she's put in the last year. I think she should have kept the title much longer, and since she didn't, this would be a way to either give it back to her or have Julia defeat her at the end, which would in a way also still elevate Chelsea Green. My next match is a comparable one to the other match. I said this would be my throwaway if I had to throw away a match, but I can't envision a scenario where you have a SummerSlam without these 4 superstars, but the problem is I don't see a way to get them on the card any other way. This 4-person, again, same stipulation, getting a shot at whatever championship for their brand. Randy Orton versus LA Knight versus Drew McIntyre versus Damian Priest. And I get it, it's face heavy, but that's because I'm trying to get everybody on the card. I would do this for a shot at the World Championship. Randy Orton, LA Knight, Drew McIntyre, Damian Priest, and honestly, I don't know who you have come out of this. If you're going to have... I give away my main event if I say that. I'll come back to this. We'll talk about this in a minute. If you have certain people win, I think you do certain things. So let's come back to that. The next match, match 5, Street Profits defend the World Tag Team Championship, WWE Tag Team Championship against the Wyatt Six, Motor City Machine Guns, DIY Los Garzas, as well as Rey Fenix and Andrade, who've been on a tear lately. And I think this would be an interesting opportunity to either put the championship on the Wyatt Six, who by then would deserve to win it if they're still doing what they're doing right now, or shake it up and give it to Rey Fenix and Andrade. I think they'd be a great ambassadors until you ever decide to reunite the Lucha Bros. If you're not going to do that before then, do it here. Let these two have the championship. But I think that you have to get the tag team championship on there because they have booked that division so terribly lately. I hate it. This would be a way to feature that division. Match 6, night 2, for the Women's World Championship. Rhea Ripley, who I'm obviously predicting is going to win the championship at Evolution, defending against Stephanie Vaquer. I think you do that, and you have an opportunity for, and I think what should happen is when Io is defending the Women's Championship against Rhea Ripley, there should be some kind of interplay with Asuka. Because if you haven't noticed, I have not had Io on the show. Io would get involved in the tag team championship match, costing the Kabuki Warriors the championship. Not necessarily in a heelish kind of way, in a like supporting a friend that goes bad kind of way, to eventually set up the Asuka Io match that I think everybody would like to see. And they kind of teased on Raw. I would love to see that, and I think this is a way we could get it there. So Rhea Ripley is the women's championship, defend against Stephanie Vaquer. It's an opportunity because I think Vaquer may actually come out of the pay-per-view, the Evolution, winning the Battle Royal and going to Paris and having her opportunity. I think we need to run it back if we do that. If she does not win the Battle Royal, this makes all the sense in the world. So that's what I would do with Rhea Ripley and the Women's World Championship. And my main event, the one that everybody sees coming, John Cena versus Cody Rhodes. There's a couple ways to book this. Do you do the double turn here? Have Cody go heel, Cena flip back to face? Not sure. Do we have, and this goes back to what I was talking about earlier, Randy Orton has to be on the show, but the match I booked earlier, again, if I was going to throw away a match, it would be that 4-way. You could have him win, and then he gets an opportunity at the World Champion, and he could cost Cody the championship to face Cena. He could cost Cena so that he would get a chance to face Cody, thinking he could defeat Cody easier. You could have him face whatever. I think that's a way you could go with this. I don't really see a way for LA Knight to be in the World Championship picture right now. Drew McIntyre, maybe. He deserves it for all the great work he's done the last year. Damian Priest even would be great for it because he really, if you think about it, I don't think people look at him on the level with the others, but I think he's phenomenal. And why not give Damian Priest a feature position? But if I was booking it, I think what we'll end up seeing is Randy Orton win that Fatal 4-Way, if they were to book that, and him somehow getting involved in the John Cena-Cody Rhodes match. That's what I'm looking forward to seeing. What do you think of the card? What do you think of our predictions? This is a way too early guess about what they're going to do for the card at SummerSlam and predicting who's going to do what, where, why, and how. If you like these, do me a favor. Give us a comment. Give us a subscribe. Let us know that you like hearing this kind of content. If you do, we will do more episodes like this, predicting cards, reflecting on things. We love to bring you content that is straight to the heart of what you want to hear. So if this is entertaining for you, if you like these predictions, if you want to go in and make comments, tell me other matches you think would be better for the card. Tell me which ones of my matches you would take out. If you don't like the 2 Fatal 4-Ways, tell me that. Tell me how you would get those guys into the show, onto the card. Maybe you take both of those out and put them into some kind of battle royal of some kind for some other stipulation. I don't know. But tell me what you would do in the comments. I'd appreciate to see your feedback. That's all the time we have for this episode. Check back next episode, run down the latest wrestling news and rumors. Special thanks as always out to Suno AI for generating the music and sound effects I used in the show. Today's show sponsored in part by Beazle Games. Bringing a new friend to family game night is easy with Sketchy people. Showcase your artistic side with this game from Beazle Games by going to thegamecrafter.com and pick up your copy today. If you're looking for your next career move, you're considering college, university life, maybe you just need some formal training for your next career decision, go to our website at frolifeplanning.com for all your higher education needs, as Fro Life Educational Planning is for today, for tomorrow, and for life with Fro Life. I'm Fred Froelich, better known as Dr. Fro. I want to thank you so much for taking some time with us today. Until next time, take care, have a great night, enjoy.
Wrestling Podcast.